Hi y'all, and welcome back to my channel. If you're a new subscriber, I'm glad to have you. And if you are new to watching, you've never watched before, I'd love to have you as a new subscriber. And to all of my faithful subscribers, thank you, I appreciate you. Today we are going to make an Italian salad. As you can tell, I'm in a different kitchen than I was in my last video. If you remember, my last video was with my daughter who just had a baby. And I have traveled from there to another state to be with another daughter who had a hysterectomy yesterday. So I am with her to help her a little bit now and probably keep her company more than help her and just play with the grandkids. Let me get a towel minute. But today I'm making an Italian salad. You've probably have had a variation of this. So what we're going to put in it, we will be putting iceberg lettuce, romaine lettuce, artichoke hearts, a mixture of Parmesan and Romano grated cheese. We will be putting this shredded Parmesan cheese, some olives and then red onion, and some Italian dressing. So we'll get started. Let me get my bowl here. So how are all of y'all doing today? Are y'all doing well? So it is nice here today. So she lives in Florida, so that's where I am now. I drove from Tennessee to Florida, and it was nice. I stopped by the Singing Group Alabama, by their museum. It was a Sunday, and they were not going to open until 1, or I would have gone in, but I didn't want to wait there. Went there about, it was probably about 10:30. Then a little farther up the road, I came by the Boyhood Home and Museum of Hank Williams Sr. Now, I'm not a Hank Williams Sr. fan. For those of you who like him, fine. I'm just not. But my husband loved him. And I like Hank Jr., but my husband loved Hank Williams Sr. And so I just stopped by there and took pictures, and again, they were closed. So anyway, always what I do is I go through, I first start and remove some of the outer leaves that, you know, don't look good and the yucky, like this looks like this got sliced with a box cutter there. So I am going to cut that brown part off. I try to make sure I get as much of the brown off. You know, it's hard trying to find good looking produce now, isn't it? I like to hit the farmers markets when they're open. Okay, I think got most of all. And then I just kind of cut it up and just in some maybe bite-sized pieces, a little bit bigger. Let me move that out of the way so you can see. Kind of like this, just kind of chunk it up. It doesn't have to be perfect unless, you know, you meet maybe the type of person that wants things uniform. So I'm just going to keep on a slicing and a dicing and cutting here. So it was raining here. I think they had some storms and I just missed them. I think I came through like right after the storms went through. I don't know if it stormed actually right here, but on the way. And as I was getting into certain areas, I could tell that a storm had just come through there. So I was blessed, because I tell you the truth, if I had come upon storms, I would have pulled over and sat them out. I don't really like driving in rain, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't a hard rain. I was able to still see real good. If it had been a hard rain, I definitely would have pulled over for that too. That one looked a little big there. You could make this if you want it smaller. You could shred it, you know. When it comes to this, it's just all your preference as to what you want. Okay, I'm getting down to that bitter part, so I'm going to stop there. bring this bowl a little closer to me and kind of separate these little tight chunks up a little. Get down there, these little chunks down toward the end, get a little tight. All right. Now at home, I have this huge Tupperware bowl that I would mix this up in, so it would be a little bit easier. All right. Then you want a head of romaine. Now you're thinking, man, that's a lot of lettuce, but believe me, it's going to wilt down. And so I am going to cut it off to about right here, because that there is, you know, kind of bitter. And again, look for brown spots, cut them off. Any brown spots you see, make sure you always wash your lettuce and dry it really good before you use it. Now, some of this isn't looking that hot. And I have another head out because I figured I would probably need another head since this is small, and like I said, some of it's not looking hot. Looking good, I guess I should say. All right. Now, we'll just chunk this up. Put it all together and just kind of chunk it. That one in the bowl. Check this now. See how tiny this head is? Still some wetness there, so I'm going to dry that off. Cut it up to about here. Get that, you want that, most of that white part away because that is bitter. And just chunk it up and stick it in. You separate this one out because it's tight. Just stick it all in there in the bowl. Now I can bring it over here. No, I need to do my onion. I was going to say I can bring it right here to me closer now, but that's not going to work. All right, so we're going to take our red onion and we will take the skin off. I cut it at both ends. I know some people wait and do the root in at the last, but I go ahead. White onion, like a yellow onion is what I'm trying to say, a yellow onion. I would be more apt to leave that root on though, because they are usually pretty strong, but my Vidalias and my red onions, I just go ahead and start cutting them. Do any of y'all remember the onion skin paper? I don't think people see or know of that anymore. Used to use those in typewriters and with carbon copy and the carbon paper and all that to make copies. They call it onion skin because it was so thin, like an onion skin. I remember those well back in the day when I did a lot of typing. I think that's why my hands and arthritis are so sore now, because I did so much typing. All right, so have that, and we are just going to kind of cut it in rings. There's a black spot there. I want to cut that black spot out. Remember, whenever you see real dark or black spots in your fresh vegetables, you want to cut that out because that can lead to mold. That's the start of mold. So we're just going to slice up some kind of thin rings. And you can use the whole onion, half an onion. If you don't want onion, you don't have to use onion. It's, again, your preference. You know, I'm thinking here, this knife, and I'm thinking, man, if I had my knife from home, this would go a lot better. Nothing like your own utensils that you are used to. All right, let me see what that looks like. I know some of them here do not like onion, but they can pick it out. spread that around. Okay, I'm going to start this end, kind of go some now too. Like I'm a sawing with this knife. Oh, sawing and not getting any firewood. I'm sure she has one better, but that's just the one I grabbed. Get a couple little more pieces off of this. I think that will be good now. If we want more, those of us who like it, we can add more. That's starting to bring the shears a little bit, so I'm going to set it over there. Let me rinse my hands off. Have the residue still there from them. Get a towel. I don't know where the towel went. That was just there. All right. And next, oh my, we are going to add some black olives. I have a can here. I probably will not use this whole can. I'll probably use about half of it. You can put these in whole. You can chop them up. You can cut them in half. Again, whatever your preference is. I am going to just cut them in half. My daughter, she came home today and she requested chicken and dumplings. So that's what I will be making her for supper. I have made that and put it on my channel before. So what I'll do is I will link the video for that down in the description box in case those who are new, you have not seen that and you want to see it. I will put the link in the description box. All right, I'm trying to decide if I want more olives or not. I personally would put the whole can in there, but there's some here that, you know, don't like them. And everyone has their own taste and distaste. I could sit down and eat this whole can of olives, to be honest. I don't like green olives, though. Isn't that weird? I like the black ones, but I don't like the green ones. I don't know why, but there is a difference to me. All right, next we are going to add some artichoke hearts. Now these have been quartered, and what I am going to do is I am going to pull them out. And if there's any real big ones like this, I'm going to give it another little cut like that. And I will use this whole jar. Let me get the rest of this water off here that they're packed in. All right. You know, this is a nice jar to repurpose if there's something you have small. Maybe you have powdered coffee creamer or something, you know, that you want to keep the air out of. You could fill it with your salt. It would, you know, that would be good. Take the sticker off and just repurpose the jar. You can spray paint the lids too. I've done that. For my canisters, for my flour and sugar, and well, I don't know if I have sugar really in one, but my cornmeal, I use like the big, you know, that's what I use now is the big pickle, the gallon-sized pickle jars. And then my husband, he had painted the lids for me. Now, when my children were all at home, I used one of those huge, you know, tins that popcorn came in. That's what I used to keep my flour and sugar in because I went through it a lot. All right, so we have that. Let me move this cutting board out of the way. I don't have anything else to cut, and it's yucky now. Rinse my hands again. Okay. To this, and I may end up having to put this in 2 bowls. I don't think I am going to be able to mix that. So let me get another bowl down here. Now, that's a lot. Now, I'll eventually, after it starts to wilt down, I will be able to transfer it all to one bowl, but for now, I am going to do some in each. Okay. There, that looks about even. Okay. Now to this, we are going to add the grated Parmesan cheese. And I usually, you know what I do? I usually just kind of like put a capful or so in, or I'll just sprinkle some. So I am just going to fill this cap full up and just kind of sprinkle it till it just looks good to me. And again, it's preference. There's no hard and fast rule here. Then I want to put in some of the shredded Parmesan, and I usually put a good handful or more. And so I think I'll do a handful in each bowl. And that should be good. And you can always add more when you get ready to eat. Let me grab a fork. I went ahead and poured this in here instead of pouring it out of the bottle, but it's just Italian dressing. It's a zesty Italian dressing from Aldi. And we'll stir it up to mix it up. You could use just an oil and vinegar dressing. If you are going to use that, I would say maybe 1/3 of a cup of vinegar and 1/4 a cup of oil, something like that. You want more vinegar than you do oil. That's kind of like what I would use when I've used it in the past. That's kind of like what I've done, and then I kind of would tweak it from there. You could take it and add some little bit of garlic to it, garlic powder, maybe a little bit of onion powder, maybe a little bit of oregano, just to make it more Italian-y. All right, so I'm going to try to divide this between the two of these. Like I said, after it wilts down a little, then I'll put it all in one bowl together. Now we just want to get in there and toss it, and I need something to toss it with. And I'll probably at some point just to make sure toss it with my hands. So I'll tell you a funny story. When my one daughter got married, she wanted me to make this meal for her wedding, and she wanted this salad. I did a smaller version of it. I didn't put all the ingredients in as I did now. But my husband was helping me. He said, "Here, let me help you." And I said, "Okay." And I, put all the ingredients in, and he was doing the mixing and the, getting it all mixed up together for me. And God love the poor man. I looked over there, and he was trying to get that dressing to go in real good, because he didn't realize it would really soak it up as it sat overnight. And he was kind of squeezing the lettuce a little. And I told him, I said, "Please don't squeeze that lettuce." I said, "You are going to just make it really bad. It's going to be just a mess if you do that. Just let it soak in naturally." And he didn't know, because, I did all the cooking. Occasionally, if I was really sick or, I went out of town, he would cook for the kids, but it was usually hamburgers, hot dogs. I think one time he did make a meatloaf. And when I had my hysterectomy, he decided he wanted biscuits one day. And so I sat on the couch and told him exactly step by step what to do to make biscuits. And he did it, and they actually turned out really good. He needed them more than he should have, but they still turned out really good. Or it wasn't that he needed them more. He was just such a strong man that when he laid them out and patted them out, his hands kind of went smack, But they did turn out really good. And then years later, I was sick. I don't know what was wrong with me, but I was sick, and it was just us at home, and he was wanting tea cakes, which I still need to make tea cakes for here. And so he asked me, "How do you make tea cakes?" So I proceeded to tell him, or kind of wrote it down about what would go in it and approximately about how much. And so, man, he loved that, because then he was making tea cakes all the time. Because since he was on dialysis, there weren't many cookies that he could eat, but he could eat the tea cakes. Okay, see how it's already started wilting down? So I think I can go ahead and put one in the other. And then I will give it a good toss again later. I usually like to make this the night before, but that's not happening, or didn't happen today. And so we'll have it for supper tonight. I'm looking for a spatula. Here's one. Something to scrape all this out. So I'll bring you back when we get ready to eat it and taste test it. See if one of these people around here wants to be a brave soul and taste test it. If not, I know one of the children will. Except maybe they'll give a thumbs down, because, you know, most children don't care for salads. Some like it and some don't. All right, so I think that's such a pretty salad. This is kind of really similar. The basis of it is similar to what they have at the Pasta House Company, if you've ever eaten there. All right, so I'll bring you back later, all right? All right, y'all, we're back, and this is what it looks like. You see how much it wilted down? And we have a couple of taste testers here. So we will see what they think. If they like it, they don't like it. You want to take that?
Can I take one?
Well, there you go. Tell everyone what you think. Is it good?
Yes, it's some good.
Thumbs up, thumbs down.
Okay,
Okay, you can have more. All right, there y'all go. Let me get over here. You want more? Okay, there you go. So, y'all can try this if you've never made one of these. And remember, I will put the link to the chicken and dumplings that I've done on another show. I'll put that down in the description box for those who have never seen that. So y'all have a wonderful evening, and remember to always season your cooking with love, all right? Bye-bye.